Hello, hello. Welcome to a new episode of I Like Art podcast. My name is Sara Glupker. I'm an artist based out of Michigan, and I'm really excited to have a chat with a fellow artist friend of mine. Her name is Tina Rawson. She's amazing. And if you would, I think this is so helpful with podcast interviews because it's audio. If you want to get a visual of Tina and her art, I would suggest hitting the pause button right now and looking her up. She's in the show notes, her links, and just to get a sense of who we're talking to today. So go do that and then come back. And all right, now I'm assuming you're back. So Tina's here to chat today about her art and a very exciting upcoming retreat. And I can't wait to share that with you. And before we get started, I'd just like to introduce my artist. And here we go. Her name is Tina Rawson, and she took up the bold decision in 2021 amidst the protracted COVID-19 pandemic to pursue her lifelong dream of becoming a painter. I love that, Tina. Studying art in college at the University of Pittsburgh helped prepare her for work as an artist, and travels throughout Europe and across the United States inform her work. Her memories of people and places also provide artistic inspiration. She sees beauty in the everyday and hopes to relay it through bright colors, movement, and texture. A girl after my own heart, for sure. Her many exhibits include a recent solo exhibition called Creative Connections Contemporary Art at the Newburyport Art Association, a show at Coastal Living Gallery in Little Compton, Rhode Island, and a museum show at the Wenham Museum in Wenham, Massachusetts, titled My Essentials. She's a proud member of the Art Queens. Yay, Art Queens. That's how I got to know you, Tina. The Newbury Art Association, and a gallery member of the Little Compton Cafe in Rhode Island and the Portsmouth Historical Society's gift shop in New Hampshire. Tina's work as an artist and educator in Amesbury, Massachusetts, and visits her native Sweden annually. She owns Start to Art, where she teaches young children through adults the joy of making art in Kurbits, a Swedish folk art style, which she studied in Sweden. And I can't wait to chat with you about that and all the things, Tina. Welcome to I Like Art podcast. Thank you so much for your time today. We are so excited to chat with you.
Oh, thank you. I'm excited too. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, Tina, I did meet you through the Art Queens, and oh, I think that was a few years ago, and it's just been really fun watching you and your beautiful art unfold. I love everything that you do, and I love to start my interview with rewinding and going back. So feel free to share as far back as you like. What was your childhood like? Did you always know you wanted to grow up and become a professional artist? Go ahead and get started. Thanks again. Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, thank you, Sarah. I love your art too. I think we have a lot in common with our
Yes.
style. So I
Thank
grew up
you.
in Pittsburgh, but my mother was Swedish, so we always went to Sweden in the summers. And when they got divorced, my mother and sister and I moved to Sweden full time. So I was 13 at that time.
Oh,
And prior
wow.
to that, yeah, I had pretty much just, lived in Pittsburgh and visited Rhode Island a lot and then seen my grandparents in Sweden, but I didn't speak any Swedish. So it was kind of a shock, because we moved over there and there I was dumped into Swedish school and I got to know all my relatives a lot better. And that was very fun and started making friends and feeling more like a Swede, really. And when I was over there, um, I did take a lot of art classes because, yeah, I have always just been drawing and painting and doing, and that's my happy place really is being by myself,
Hmm.
painting. But I love teaching too. So I've found that I basically was born, with this desire to explore colors. Primarily colors was really my thing, and stories.
Hmm.
And then as I grew up and all these experiences happened and in and around me, and I moved so much and I got a lot of jobs and I was thrown in different situations, I became more extroverted and felt like that was something I really enjoyed. I love to travel and I love to share that with people. So um, yeah, so I was ready to come back to the States after I graduated from high school. And that's when I came back and actually started studying art at the University of Pittsburgh, where my father taught.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the loop there in a
Mhm.
nutshell.
You're not in Pittsburgh, though, you're in Massachusetts, right?
Right. Yeah. So my
Okay.
grandparents lived in Rhode Island, and that was another home base for us, was Rhode Island always. And so I moved to Massachusetts. After going to Pitt for 2 years, I went on sort of a journey of introspection and figuring out what I wanted to do. And then I ended up going to Simmons College in Boston for art and teaching. So that's how I got into the teaching world. And I chose Boston basically. I do like Massachusetts a lot. I feel happy here by the water and also closer to home, my Swedish home.
Mhm.
Um, so that's why I ended up here. But yeah, it's been a lot of traveling and a lot of back and forth throughout the years. I always go to Sweden once a year, and I was inspired all the time. Oops, I guess I can't use my hands. Sorry.
Oh.
I dropped my mic. I was inspired all the time by my mother's art, my grandfather's art, the art around us, the visual aspect of Sweden. It's just I think people take a lot of care with how things look there.
Mm.
Yeah, and how they design things. So
Mhm.
that's influenced me.
So, aesthetic and the way things look, like beauty, those are you find those are important culturally over there in Sweden? Okay. I've never been to
Yeah,
Sweden,
I
but it
know.
sounds lovely.
Hopefully someday. It's
Mhm.
um it's just I think do people do take pride about the way things look, and also I think it's meant to be practical, user friendly as well. So that's kind of the goal, is to how to make something both beautiful and practical.
I love that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's attainable. It's, it can be fixed in it can be added into your life like a spice, but
Yeah.
it's
Like
not, like, overbearing or anything.
they know what's the most popular bowl or the most in fabric or whatever. And so they'll swap things out and update their homes, and kind of that's the Scandi
Mhm.
style, I guess. And
Mhm.
I, um anyway, getting back to the folk arts, because I'm heading
Yes.
off in a different direction in my head. I
Swedish
grew
folk
up,
art. Tell me all
yeah,
about it.
with these things, like I pulled some stuff together. So this horse, right?
Yeah, so if you're on YouTube, you can see Tina's
Okay.
art. Describe it for us. Is
So
this a
this is
drawing?
everybody knows this horse is Swedish. This is the one thing, like,
Oh.
all the American Swedes know about this wooden horse, because everyone has one pretty much. And the way it's painted is a folk art style. And so they make also clogs and other things with that style. So this is the swoopy, swirly style that I teach. It's
Oh.
it's called Kilbeats. And this horse was sort of, I think what I've learned is that in the 1700s, they say a soldier made this for a child in Dalarna and painted this for him. So I don't know if that's true, but there was a war
Mhm.
going on.
Mhm.
And like, here's another example of this folk art.
These are other artists that made these, or you?
Yeah, not
Okay.
me. These are other artists. This is the type of
Okay.
art that I teach, because it's
Mhm.
really fun and easy and whimsical, and you can
Mhm.
literally copy it if you want to and add your own. So some people get very nervous about that. Oh, I can't make art. I can't draw a straight line. A, it is not straight.
Mhm.
It's curvy. And
Mhm.
B, there's basically, you can trace it if you want to. It's a type of art that's accessible for anybody. And then there would be, on the walls, like,
So
or this is,
there's, like, patterns kind of, and
yeah,
there's some mirroring with images being repeated, kinda like a
it's,
kaleidoscope
yeah, I mean,
image?
you could even find this at CVS lately. I saw some little notepads that had used and updated folk art style. So that's the folk art that I teach. It's not necessarily what I always make.
Mhm.
Because if you've seen my landscapes and my other things, but
Yes.
this is here's a pillow, right?
And it's like geometric shapes, flowers,
Yep.
there's some birds, but
It's
there's some mirroring going on there.
Yeah,
I
the
think that's
folk art
so
is
cool.
really symmetrical usually in any culture. I mean, you'll
Mhm.
see it in Mexico and
Mhm.
all the Latin countries and Russia, Ukraine, wherever. Um, that tends to be something that folk art, you'll, you know, it's the color, it's sort of the outlining, how we're
Mhm.
taught in as artists not to outline anything.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yes.
that would be okay
I love
as a
that.
folk art. Yeah, folk artist. So it's very different from what I strive to
Mhm.
achieve with my fine art, but it's a lot of fun. It's really meditative. It's really relaxing and
And it's who you are.
the-
So I have a question for you, not even on my question list here, but you mentioned that your mom makes art and your grandfather, grandparents that make art. Is it the Swedish folk art style that they're creating in, or is it their art?
yeah. So my mom is a pretty well-known textile artist, but she studied in Pittsburgh actually, and she also studied in Sweden, and she did embroidery and weavings and things like that, and not folk art.
Okay.
Definitely not. It was much more modern. And my grandfather was an impressionist.
Mm,
So impressionist paintings. He was actually he was in advertising. He owned his own advertising company, and then he would go out on the weekends. He was a really good artist, and he would paint the scenery to as a way to relax.
I love
So
that. You have such a cool
yeah.
family. Anyone with artists in their family, it's like, I want to go to your family holiday get together because I think it'd be so fun. How creative and amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
So,
really lucky because there are a lot of people in my family, my cousins and my sister, and a lot of people with creative bents.
love that.
Yeah.
So, the folk art, okay, I'm really interested in this because I'm also working on a body of work that relates to home and where I came from and certain images from home. And I think there's this really interesting full circle feeling that you get as a creator to go back and tap into those traditions or those places that are a part of who you are and your story. Do you feel that? I mean, because Swedish folk art it has to be so old, right? Got to be some crazy tradition with this that goes back how many decades or centuries, I don't even know, but does that just give your soul like this? And I even think that it would be even more special if you were Swedish because it's tapping into those past generations. It's a part of your fiber of who you are. Can you touch on that? Do you feel that? I mean, is that part of the reason why you are interested in learning this and teaching this tradition? Maybe I'm
I
putting words in your mouth. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think you brought up a lot of interesting points. So, the question about home and tapping into your soul, I think that there's some things that showed up in my art that reminded me of my grandparents and my
Mm.
places that I had been that I was surprised. That
Mm.
I was like, hmm, why did I paint this on a brown background? Like, why would I ever have done that? It was so appealing to me when nobody else I know likes brown, but to me, it was like really beautiful. And I realized there was a lot of like that pillow that I showed you, there was a lot of that on brown at my um grandmother and grandfather's house in the countryside, and they lived at near a beach, right? And they had
Mhm.
these old pillows um on brown. And I feel like that whole feeling of like the pillows and the way the light shone, they had like stained glass there. It just kind of came through in my painting without me thinking. So I think that there's kind of a feeling that folk art is you look down upon, right? And I'm trying to say it's there's a reason why people love it
Mhm.
because it does speak to your heart,
Mhm.
okay? And you don't have to necessarily be Swedish to love folk art, and this is just one of many styles. And there's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with starting off easy, starting off slow, and building your own creative style. It's just crazy a lot to ask people to kind of leap out of like, I have done art since grade school, and then all of a sudden they're going to, create a masterpiece that means a lot. And what I find is that this is a way for them to enter their creativity, and it ends up meaning a lot because
Mhm.
everyone who takes my class really is so proud of their work and they love
Oh, I
it and
love
they've
that.
chosen the colors. Yeah, they love the colors that they've chosen, and every one of those pieces, even if they start with a simple um, trace, is like their own. It's unique
Mhm.
because that's art, right? So I feel like I don't know if I'm answering your questions, but I think that all that stuff that's in us, that's us, does come through in our art. And
Mhm.
this is just why they love what they do. And it's so fun to see it because they just
Mhm.
light up. So
There's
it's
so much.
this was, yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry.
It's
Go
exciting.
ahead.
No, you go
I
ahead.
was gonna say there's so much more to it than the end product. And I think that it's just this is a really cool conversation because you're right. A lot of people are really gun shy about creating. And I feel like I love that, for instance, your upcoming retreat that you're offering and you teach, it's creating these safe spaces for people to have a guided experience and also have those aha moments. Before the pandemic, I was also teaching a lot. I was offering those wine and canvas type classes on my own as my own business. And the best part, the absolute best part was at the end when I could just feel the room and the energy and the excitement of the participants and how proud they were of what they created and that marvel of, I can't believe I made this. And also, allowing people to have their own independent ideas and have put their own twist on it, pick their own colors, kind of thing. And I'm sure that people do the same thing in your spaces. And we need more of that, right? And we also need um, to give ourselves permission to try new things. And, the folk art, I feel like that is just such a cool, different type of class to take. I wish I lived next door, Tina. I'd be at probably all
Yeah.
of your stuff. I'd be like, I'm there.
I'll be at
Um,
all your stuff too. Your little cherry. Oh, it looks so cute. Your studio.
yeah.
I love it. All your open
Someday you
house.
can come
Yeah,
visit
I
and I'll
will.
come visit you. So, but I love that I love how you talked about you were honoring even just the choices that you made. Brown is not a color maybe you typically would reach for, but then it just brings you into these different kinds of memories. And I can relate to that so much. A lot of my work is about my grandmothers and
Mm.
where I grew up and home. And it might not even be in the moment when I'm making the piece, but then later on I realize, oh, this feels like my grandma's yard, or this plant reminds me of the plant that she had grown in her garden. And so art can just really transform and take us, it's like a time capsule. It can take you back into time too. It's such a magical thing. So, okay, we could talk about this all day. I love it.
I
I
totally
love
agree
where
with
this
you.
is going.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like you described your art and your painting style. Do you want to touch on that a little bit more? Or do you want to keep going?
I think what I want to say is maybe just show you how I started my classes and then where I think the retreat will add to it.
Yes.
So my art, what I started making was actually these little huts in Sweden. They're bath huts. I love little things.
Mm-hmm.
I always love the little huts, little houses, little like cute things in the
Yes.
woods. I don't know.
Same.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is so cute and magical, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
started making these huts, and that's where people change their clothes and then they swim, and they're usually in beautiful locations. And similar to that, we have the pink house here, which I've been
Yes.
fighting to save because it's like this gorgeous pink house in the middle of the marsh. So again, it's a juxtaposition of nature, which I
Mm-hmm.
love going into nature, but it's how I would feel, I think, like if I were to open up the door and see a marsh. You know what I mean? Like see that beauty there and hear the birds. That's to me really amazing. I think that's why I'm drawn to those places, like imagining myself like that, or even back in the day, right? And they had
Mm-hmm.
access to nature and they were working with their hands and they're like, so that I think was partly what drew me to Swedish folk art, right? Because it's a lot of it is a simpler time. It's they're farmers. They hired these itinerant painters basically to come in and paint special scenes for them, whether it was like something, could be something, just a big event, right? Or it could be Christmas, or it could be something biblical, but they wanted to honor, you know, and make their house beautiful for this event. And then the guys, typically men, they would mix their own paints, right? Think about that. They were like taking dirt and
Yay.
I don't know, rocks, whatever,
Yeah.
grinding them, mixing things. And that was their proprietary stuff. And then they would paint for the people. And it was kind of like being almost like a carpenter or a worksman. It wasn't really what we think of today as an artist, right? They were on a job. And this is like in the 1700s, 1700s, 1800s. And one of the reasons I chose to teach this type of art to people is because there's so much interesting stories behind it. So I love throwing in that to the people who take my
Mm-hmm.
class and tell them about these guys and about how the paintings are used or the furniture. And there's just a whole wealth of knowledge that I think is interesting.
Yes. I'm already leaning in. Like, can you tell me some more? I'm gonna have to,
Okay.
yeah, I think that
Are
these
you
stories
sure?
are so powerful. No, I think that you
Yeah.
could make so much content around this topic alone, and you do, and there's so much to share, and I'm just in awe, and I love the really old stuff and 1700s. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So, and you're bringing it into the modern tradition. I think that's really powerful, and it's really exciting because now we have digital, and you can put it on different things, and you can change the colors on your computer. There's just endless options of what you can do, how you can apply it and make probably your own patterns, or I don't know. I'm just
That's what people
rambling now.
keeps on telling me. I mean, I am so bad at that. That's the thing I'm not good at. I do need to learn that. My daughter's going to art school now, so she's the next generation. So hopefully she'll help
Yay.
me. Because it
Amazing.
is very decorative and it could go on a lot of different things,
Mhm.
but I just am not good at that stuff. I paint it and then I show it, and that's about it for me. I'm terrible
Yes.
even to take photos of my work.
It's okay. We
Not
are
good.
you have access to college students that could, or local people that can help you with the tech part. So you do the creative part, and have your daughter help you, or have her friend. I had a college student make my website recently, well,
Oh,
4 years ago, and there's no shame in that game because your genius is what you do, and we only have a certain amount of time in the day. I absolutely 100% advocate for that. So, okay, Tina, tell us, now that we're all excited about Swedish folk art and we all want to learn from you and we
mhm.
want to learn more, this is a perfect time to talk about your upcoming retreat and an online course. So, this is like very exciting stuff because I don't know anybody else who teaches this. And I do kind of live in a bubble, but still, I think this is so incredibly different and exciting and accessible for a lot of people. So tell us all about this retreat. Let's start there.
Yeah. So my thought was, one of the things, and I've got a book like with everybody's notes, because again, I'm old school. When I go give these classes, I take pictures and then can write their comments. And they're all like, I love it. It's all great. Everything's fun. And I've gotten a lot of good feedback. But one thing that they might have said was that they sometimes feel like they don't have enough time because not everybody can feel comfortable picking up a paintbrush and even knowing how to use it.
Hmm.
Sometimes you have to go way back and start with like how you mix paints and all that. And so I thought, well, I'd love to have a day of just pure relaxation where we just spend the time that we need to create a beautiful piece of art and where people can do that in a beautiful spot. And so I found this place that I'd known about nearby in Byfield, Massachusetts, and it's a retreat and conference center that's from the 1914. So it goes really well with the right vibe. It's like this old summer cottage from Maine. If you can imagine, the wood, the kind of
Hmm.
the old wood, and everything's feels really like handmade and whatnot, but it's huge. So it's like take the summer cottage and blow it up 50 times
Nice.
and then add rooms, 70 rooms. It's like goes on and on. It's got like 3 living rooms and a dining room and a library room and a this room and that room. And it's a beautiful spot in the country on 7 acres or whatever. I can't remember exactly. But they've got like walking trails and a meditative spot and gardens. It's just really, really nice. And I always feel like, when you go there, you just go, oh. So that's where we're gonna hold it.
It's in
And
Maine.
it's not in Maine. It just looks like
Okay.
it was made in that style, like the
Okay.
arts and crafts
Hmm.
style, with the wood and the dark
Hmm.
kind of wood and paneling and stuff on the inside. And they have a great dining facility. So we're gonna paint for 4 hours in the modern wing or 3 hours, whatever.
Hmm.
And that's in a nice air conditioned room, which we were talking about how hot it is. And then we're gonna eat, and it's a buffet, and I've tasted their food, and it's really delicious, and they have lots of choices, and it's like going to summer camp for grown-ups, at the big
Yes.
long tables. So
Yes.
that's really fun. Yeah. And
So
then I
it's
thought, sorry.
no, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm so
Yeah,
excited.
it's just nice because it's a nice way to sit down and chat with everybody, and then outside, go outside, I thought, for a bit and just kind of soak in the nature. And there are a couple of choices, and they can relax for a bit before heading back into the classroom. Um, Working more on their piece to get it all exactly where they want it. And I have like a couple different projects based on where they're at, and it's only going to be 20 people, so it's easy for me to say, oh, you took my class in this, so you should be doing this. Why don't you try that? How do you like this idea? I have lots of choices. And
Okay.
then, yeah, we have Reiki even at the end. My friend is a Reiki specialist, so she has offered to do that if people want it.
Okay. Well,
And we're
that's
making
lovely.
flower crowns. So
Yay.
yeah, that I
Oh,
think
that
will
sounds
be a great day.
amazing.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
and it starts, okay, so what's the time frame? What time do you
It's
get there?
it's on the 17th of August. It's a Saturday. It's from 9 to 5 again, because I just wanted people to have enough time. They can cut out at 4 if they want to, if they don't want the Reiki. The end of the day will be more relaxed, but I did want them to really get into it, get into the flow, because that's what
Mm-hmm.
I want for them, to be able to relax and just feel that, how we get. Like, it's just so wonderful when you get into that space where you just create.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that's the thing that I wanted. And then I have a lot of information about Swedish culture. So if people can and are interested in that, I can just extemporize and tell them. I
Mm-hmm.
was going to do a whole midsummer theme.
Mm-hmm.
So I could tell them about that, or I could show them how to make
Mm-hmm.
the flower crowns, or we can just talk about the history. of the
Mhm.
folk art. I've got books,
Yes. Well, that's a
big
thick book.
books with
Yes.
all kinds of info. Because some people really are fascinated by that too, so there's
Mhm.
that. And
What
it'll
kind
be a
of
full day.
what kind of projects are people gonna make? Like if I'm
So
going
this
there.
is so I'll show you what they do first. This is what they do first, is something like this. And I've taught this all around like 100 people approximately.
Is
This is the basic quilt beads. So this is the gourd, all right? And you can do any colors that you want.
and it's like is it a watercolor? What is your
It's
medium?
tracing and it's acrylic, and
Okay.
we do it on paper. And then
Okay.
I have a frame for them
It's a large
so they
sheet
can
of
frame it.
paper.
Yes, it's a nice sheet of paper. We can also do smaller sizes, but
Hmm. But it looks so good on your wall. I think that's just wonderful.
yeah, it
And
does
it
look
comes
good.
with a frame. So they're
I'm
gonna,
gonna give them a frame. This is
okay.
like another, you know, different color set.
Hmm.
So that's the first thing. So if they haven't taken my class before, that's what they would do. If they have taken my class before, I thought I'd focus on flowers for them because there's a whole series of folk art flowers that you can make. And
Oh.
yeah, it's like a style that they would quickly work up. So, these painters in the 1800s, they were painting huge walls, right?
Mm.
Um, and they're called bunado, and they would make all these patterns and whatnot. And so they had this quick style to make flowers, and they're really cool.
Oh, I want to learn that. That
Yeah,
sounds awesome.
yeah, it's pretty neat. And then there's like the absolute beginner can do something as simple as a stencil, and I have these stencils that I bought in Sweden, which are the horse, you know
Amazing.
what I mean?
Oh, I want to make a horse.
Yeah, and you just do some flowers around the edge, and it's so pretty, right? Nice.
Yes. Oh, it's so playful.
Yeah, so it's gonna be scaffold
I
for
could see
people.
I could see where I love that you have different you kind of have a pulse on the group and you help people be challenged. But I could see where at the beginning there's that uncertainty of I'm not really sure if I can do this, but then do you find that during your workshops and this in during this retreat that there will be a moment when everyone just kind of sinks into that very relaxed zone of creating? Because that's kind of that's the point of the day, right? So there will be a learning curve. There will be the setup and getting acclimated and picking out your paints and your design. But then there's going to be the rest of the day, which is going to be just so, I could just see it just being so blissful and just fun and great opportunity to get to know other creative people. Um, I
Yeah, I
love
think
that.
so. I hope so. And the idea is to take the stress off your shoulders and put it aside. And I like to think of how people in the olden days they had bees, right?
Mhm.
They would make tapestries or quilting bees. That's what I'm trying.
Yeah.
So I like to think of this as a painting bee. So it's like a way
Mhm.
to get together with other people who like what you like, and we're gonna chat about our lives and stuff too. It's not just gonna be like sit in a row,
Yeah. And get to
and
make
be
some
quiet.
friends, be social,
Yeah.
make
I
some new
like to put on
friends.
music. I put on ABBA.
Yes. Oh,
Gotta
it
do
sounds so
that.
have some good food, meet
Yeah.
some people, be in community. What an opportunity and what a great I would think, man, it would be fun to bring a friend. I think that would be really fun. I'm sure you have people that do that, that sign up and bring someone with them, but you can also meet new people that you're going to learn a skill that you can take and run with it after the workshop and also um
Yeah, definitely. Because they have so many books, and they're not that easy to find, but I have sussed them out, and then I make copies for people and they can take them home with them and keep on working on them. So
mhm.
if they love it, they can definitely keep doing it. Then I tell them what kind of paints to get and brushes and so forth. And then I also have an online class.
I know I was going to say, what if you live in Michigan and you can't
Yeah.
make it that weekend? What
Yeah,
about
so
the
what
people that
about
are
you?
what about me, Tina?
Well, you too could learn a Swedish folk art.
I love this.
There actually is a woman out there who's really good, Piper Bloomquist, but I think she lives in North Dakota. But other than her and me, and maybe at most a handful, I really don't think there's a whole lot of people that are teaching this. So if anyone's interested, reach out to us. I put together an online class because I know there are a lot of Swedes in Alaska and Seattle and places like that. And I thought, um, it'd be fun for them to learn more about their heritage. It's called Swedish Folk Art for Beginners. And they are going to learn to make this kulbits, the classic kulbits, which is, like the one I showed you. So
It's a design.
there's a story behind this whole board, right?
Okay.
And it's really kind of funny actually. It was due to a mistranslation of the Bible, the word kukulbitka, which is the Latin word, got mistranslated, and they started to think of it as a gourd, as like a squash gourd. And if you look at this kind of has these gourdy kind of things happening here. I could show you in books. Again and again, they use this style because, like I said, they weren't interested in really expressing themselves. It was more about making something beautiful for people and fulfilling the client's needs. So the gourd is the kulbits, but ironically, it actually doesn't mean gourd. It meant lamp oil tree, I think, in the Bible. So like the Aramaic actually was a lamp oil tree. It had to do with Jonah and the whale, and God gave him a lamp oil tree
Hmm.
to protect him. But they thought it was this amazing gourd, right? So anyhow, that's kind of the thing with the Swedish folk art. They came up with this design. People loved it. They're like, why reinvent the wheel? We'll throw one here. We'll throw one there. And they're really whimsical and fun because they'll take like one little guy and then have a huge gourd next to him. Or they'll have a little
Oh,
tiny gourd and three huge guys. It doesn't really
oh,
matter,
fun.
right? Yeah, it's very silly and kind of whimsical. And I think that's what attracted me to it. I loved how they just figured out how to do it. And then they do like whole rooms full. I don't know if you can see this, you probably can't, but here's a room,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yes.
That's
Mm-hmm.
a rich man, probably like a farmer at the time, would have hired these painters to paint that, and they would have come.
Like murals almost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this is Eric Eliasson who painted that. So a lot of people too, they might not have a fancy room like that to paint, but they would want it on canvas and then they would roll it out for special occasions. So that's kind of also the next step. For me personally, that's the next step, to come up with these funny little scenes with people in them. So it's
Okay.
not just using, the fun, whimsical designs, but and I've been doing borders and things like that. I'm trying to incorporate into telling a story with it in a way.
Mm-hmm. I
Like I
love
think that
that.
will be really, yeah.
So there's so much you can do with it. You can decorate with it. You can tell stories with it. You can go to the retreat. You can sign up for your online course coming up. Those links will be in the show notes. And Tina is not paying me to talk to her today. I'm just a huge fan of Tina. I'm vouching for her. I've gotten to know her, and I think that these would be just really awesome ways to connect and treat yourself with some education and some fun. Tina, you also have a private group on Facebook. We didn't even talk about that.
Oh yeah. I have Yeah, I have art lovers, which has been very fun. And for me during pandemic, that was really wonderful to have people who even cared about, what I was doing in my artistic journey as I was learning. And these people have been really supportive and we try to I want them to post their paintings on there too. So you can either go to tina.rawson.art and then through there get to art lovers, or you can just look for art lovers with the funky couch because it's my couch. It's my Bridgerton couch that I painted.
Mhm.
That's my symbol. It's a red couch, which I own, a velvet one, and it's got a glass of champagne on it with this really colorful background. It symbolizes friendship. For me, it was like the fun of sitting down with friends during the pandemic or having something to talk about, and that was Bridgerton. And I put the
Yeah.
champagne on there because I'm like, we gotta have some fun. So
Yes, it's a fun group. It's really fun. You have quite a few people in there, and it's the people are in there adding things and sharing, and I just love that so much. So I'll put a link to that in the show notes if that's okay with you.
thank you, Sarah. Yeah,
And
I'd appreciate that.
why why should why is making art important in your opinion? Why learn Swedish folk art? Why create, especially right now when we feel like the world is like a dumpster fire? I know I wrestle with this question, but what do you think about it?
I think that anything you can do to make yourself feel steady and happy and fulfilled is what you should do.
Hmm.
So for me, that's art. I feel like if I don't do it, I get a little off kilter. Um, it just brings a lot of joy to me, and I like sharing that with other people. So that's why the retreat. But I mean, it's really up to everyone, I guess, to decide what they like. But if you're at all artistically inclined and you're stopping yourself, don't do that. I
Hmm.
did that for years because I thought um, I wasn't good enough, you know. I thought I wasn't good enough, and I thought everything had been done. Like, why
Hmm.
would I? What could I add when there's Picasso, Michelangelo, and Chagall and Van Gogh and all these people?
Yeah.
But that's not the point. The point is everyone is unique and everyone has something to add. So don't
Yes.
let that stop you if you like art. Just do it and start wherever you feel comfortable, whether it's just like coloring book,
Hmm.
right? Anything. Just
Hmm.
sit down with your kids, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. That's such a beautiful answer. Thank you for sharing that. And okay, we will, if we have time, we will do the rapid round of questions. Are you up for that, Tina? It's really
I don't know
fun.
what that is.
Oh, it's just
But
five
yeah,
random
sure.
questions. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so you have your upcoming retreat. And it's for beginners to more advanced or people that have been making art. It's for people who are Swedish, people who are not Swedish. It's for anybody who's interested and intrigued, I would say. And also your online course and your Facebook group. What are the details about? We'll have all the links in the show notes, but what are the specifics about this retreat that's coming up that my listeners need to know? If they're like, I need to do this, this sounds so fun. I just want to treat myself and have a wonderful day. Tell us the
Okay.
details.
Yes. So the details are it's on the 17th of August and it's in person and it's at Road, which is this place I was telling you about. There are rooms for rent as
In
well as small
Massachusetts,
cottages. Yeah,
right?
and it's in
Okay.
Byfield, Massachusetts, which is on the North Shore of Boston. Not far from Newburyport, where I live. Newburyport is a coastal town, so there's beaches and nice restaurants and things to do in town, but this is just a one-day retreat. If you decide to spend the night, you would call Adeline Road and book through them. They have
Mm-hmm.
lots of rooms. They're very rustic, but they're cheap and
Mm-hmm.
they're nice. So you could do that. And then the day basically is just set aside for making art and having fun and eating good food. And then afterwards, you could go out on town and do something with your new friends or just
Mm-hmm.
at home, whichever. Um, there's no deadline to sign up, but if you do sign up by the end of July, you get a free frame.
Yay.
Yay. It's a cute wooden frame from Sweden.
Oh,
And
yay.
also $25 off because I gave you a promo code for your listeners. It's
Yay.
$200, but I think that's a good price. I mean, it's 9 to 5 and include
Yeah.
all
The
the
retreat is
flowers, all the food.
$200.
Yeah.
Okay.
and the all the supplies, instruction, and Reiki and
Mm-hmm.
all the other stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
the place, you know. But yeah, $25 off with code friends. No,
Code.
flowers. Flowers. That's what I said, right? I can't
Code.
remember.
I will put in the show notes the discount code.
Yeah,
It's
I think
$25 off.
it's $25 off. I'm pretty sure I called it flowers.
I'll double check. It's cool.
Yes. And also they get a free frame if they sign up this month. I would like to know, I'm going to decide by the end of the month, pretty much if it's a go. Um, so I do want to do it because I have a lot to
Yeah.
share. I think it'll be really fun, but I do
Mhm.
understand people are really busy in the summer and,
I think it
you
would be
know,
so awesome. And there's
yeah,
only limited seats, so I think people should sign up. Like, don't think about it. Do it, invite a
yeah.
friend. I think it's so fun to the painting parties that I used to teach, a lot of people would bring a friend, and that was just a lovely way to you can still meet new people, but you also have that buddy with you and to share an experience with them. Or it could be like a mother-daughter thing or cousins or, coworkers, girls' weekend, whatever. I don't think it's just for women, but um, okay, so
Thank
I
you.
will have all the links in the show notes again. And what is a creative challenge that you would like to give my listeners? I like to ask my guests that question. Is there anything specific?
So I think it would be fun to go outside and pick a flower and just try to paint it. So try to look at it carefully and match the color and look at the leaves. So sometimes, the leaves go directly across from one another, and sometimes they're at an angle, like one's up here,
Mm-hmm.
one's up here, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they're all patterned differently, and try to like just think, don't, if you only get the daisy that you did in school, that's fine too. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it would be fun to just, I think, to try to do that.
Mm-hmm. What if what if I do that and I feel like it's terrible? I'm like, this is the worst
Well,
thing.
you got to look at Emil Nolde, and you got to look at, Chagall, and you got to look at all the big artists. Don't look at Matisse.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe look at Matisse, but don't look at Monet. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Matisse would do very flattened things,
Mm-hmm.
and like patterns, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the style that people, I think, pretty easily can take to. I think Monet with his, the water and oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, that's so amazing. The water lilies, but maybe just look at some of the other artists that you like. I think Emil Nolde, for example, is an underappreciated artist from, I think he was a German artist from the 1800s. I mean, it was like not, just look at these famous artists and you'll see that there's, they're doable. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
like crazy hard
Yeah.
to come up with a good
Or
looking flower.
takes practice too.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a realistic rendering of anything. Okay, I love that. Thank you so much. Okay, I have these rapid questions. They're just for fun. So, but I need to know. These are the questions I really care about. I'm just kidding. Okay, Tina, top of mind, we have no judgment here, but what is your favorite color?
Um, oh God. I think it's pink,
What shade of pink?
sort of I don't know, like a beach rose.
A a beach rose? A
Yeah,
what?
like it's like a beach rose pink. Like
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna look that up because I think in Michigan, I don't even know what a beach rose is. That must be like an
okay,
East Coast thing.
I have a painting of it. I don't know
Is it
if
like
like
light
this.
pink? Oh yeah.
These are
Okay.
my peach rose. This is my border.
Oh, that's so
No,
pretty.
it's a bright, pretty pink. I love blue. I love yellow. I love all the colors, really. I should probably turn on the light though, because I'm looking a little scary here. Do you mind if I
Is it
just turn
getting?
on the light?
No, it's okay. Is it getting dark? Must be. Okay. Now we can see you.
Ugh,
Okay. Thank you, Tina. All right.
sorry about that.
All good. We can see you. I know it must be getting dark. It's not even
Yeah,
close to getting dark here in Michigan yet. Okay.
it's eight
Is there a
21 here.
book or a movie that you want to mention? Just for any reason in particular?
Watch Amelie. I like that one.
Is that a movie?
It's a movie. It's a French movie.
Okay. I'm gonna watch it.
Okay.
Okay, so some people get their ideas when they're in the shower. I get my ideas and inspiration while I'm driving in my car, always. Where do you get your best ideas and inspiration?
I think going on walks,
Okay,
being on nature.
that's wonderful. I don't know why. I love nature. I think I'm
You love
just
cars too.
I just love being in my car. I know it's
Yeah,
bad.
it's relaxing.
I think it's just my body needs to be moving really fast in order for I don't know. Okay.
Mm,
What do you
cool.
wish you were good at, but you're not? Like, I wish I was good at sports, but I'm not. Is there something? Could be anything.
Well, I do wish I was better at the technology end of it. It doesn't make sense to me, really. It's kind of a generational thing, I think. Like I just can't get it sometimes.
Yeah, it's okay.
I
You
try.
can't.
If you look at my website and you see my paintings, please know they look a lot better in person.
Oh, well, it's all, yeah. It's hard, right? Because
Mhm.
when we started out, we wanted to be artists. Well, you started in 2021, but even when you went to art school back in the day, it's like this is not how I pictured all of these chords and like all the apps and everything. So
And I
I get
take
it.
so many classes, right? I'm always, every little offer, I'm like,
Yeah.
and then I'm just, I just can't, I can't focus on it.
Yeah. It's
I don't
okay.
know. But it
It's
holds me
all
back. It does hold me back. So someday I would either get my kids to do it for me or something.
right. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there something that you have in your studio that is like a guilty pleasure, something like a little treat, or maybe it's a show you like to watch? I don't know. Like I always have a stash of chocolate in my studio. That's like my little guilty pleasure.
hmm
Anything you want to share?
I have glitter and gold leaf, and I love throwing some glitter to things, which is really bad.
Oh
Because
no,
I'm
I
like,
love that.
oh no, I mean, like I made these abstract paintings and I was trying to be like, all like, okay, abstract. That's not my thing really, but I thought this would be, people like this, but then I could not resist. And I just like, Shh. I had done like resin, I'd resined them and everything. And I'm like, they're boring.
Oh, I bet they're
We need some
cool.
glitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the spice. That's the secret ingredient that
Uh-huh.
yeah,
It's either
I can
that or
relate.
I don't know. It's like the
I
sprinkles
think
on the
it's
cupcake.
fun. It's like part of your signature, maybe, you know?
Yeah,
I love
maybe.
that.
I need to start doing that more, maybe. Maybe I should just let that out.
Yeah. Embrace it, you know?
Yeah, it feels silly though, doesn't it? It's kind of like, how
No.
silly is she?
Oh no. I glued rhinestones on a painting and it felt like this big breakthrough. And I was actually for the Art Queens show in Philly,
Yeah.
and the painting got lost in the mail. So my breakthrough painting is in a warehouse in Philly and it's
Oh
nowhere.
no.
I know, isn't that tragic? You're probably the first this is the first time I've talked about it publicly because I'm just so disappointed in the post office and um but
Yeah.
I feel like this idea, it's one of the things where once you do it, it's like I'm either gonna want to do this again or not. And now I want to put rhinestones in other paintings. So I think it's cool. It's like
Good. Yeah, let's
you
do
know,
it. We're gonna start a new trend.
yeah, just it's fine. Like put
Mm,
glitter, do what feels good. So, well, Tina, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so
thank you.
much for your time and chatting with me. And I'm really excited about what you have going on. I think that it's just magical and amazing. I think your retreat would be so fun. Truthfully,
I
I wish
wish
I
you
could
could
go.
come.
I know.
send
Maybe
you out here.
let me look at my calendar one more time. It's like, how many hours can I drive there? I'd probably fly into Boston, I'm guessing.
Yeah, fly into
Um,
Boston and take the train up, like, come get you.
yeah, yeah.
That'd be
So,
so fun.
but I'm here
Uh,
cheering you on either way.
Thank
And I
you.
know there are some people out there that are really thinking about it. And I think this is me saying, go for it. It's like, do the retreat, go on an adventure, try something new. And I think this is just such a unique opportunity to experience. And again, I'm not like a paid sponsor, I'm just a fan of Tina. So,
Well, I'm a
um,
fan of Sarah. You know that. You know that. We're gonna work together someday, sometime.
yes,
Someday. Maybe
someday.
I'll rent a glittery school bus or something, truck, and drive cross country and come see you.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
You could just shoot glitter out the window. Like,
Yeah.
probably not good for the environment, but
Have like pinwheels on the side.
yes, Tina's tour. Like you could teach Swedish folk art to
Yeah.
all the communities, and
All
I
the
love
barefoot
that.
children along the way.
Yes, flower crowns, glitter. Let's go.
Yes, yes.
This is my jam here. So thank you again so much, Tina, and
Thank
I hope
you.
everybody signs up for your newsletter. I know that's a beautiful way to learn about your upcoming online course because it's not on your website yet, but it's going to be there soon. So sign up for Tina's newsletter, give her some love, follow her on Instagram. Go check out her private group on Facebook. It's very dynamic and fun, and I just love everything here. So thank you again, Tina, so much for being on the show and best of luck to you. And we'll be in touch for sure. So,
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I think
of
you're doing
course.
awesome. And I'm so proud of you.
Aw,
So keep on doing all the good stuff you're doing. We'll definitely
gosh,
connect again. Thank you.
thank you. That means the world to me. So, and
Thanks.
thanks everyone for listening. I know I get real chatty and these episodes are longer than I planned, but an hour is, this is so nice. It's such an honor to be, a part of someone's day and share. And let's just have more fun. Let's make more art. Let's follow those creative nudges. And until next week, thank you again so much for being on I Like Art podcast, Tina. And I look forward to chatting with everyone else next week. So thanks again. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you. You too. Thanks for your help.
Bye.
Bye.